Welcome to the GMS 9.0 MODPATH tutorial. We will show you how to run through the MODPATH tutorial and use the MODPATH interface. To start out, we're going to open up the ModFmap GMS project. So navigate to wherever you have that saved and open it up. When it opens, you should see the East Texas model. I'm going to frame it so it's a little bit bigger. This is the same model used in our conceptual model approach tutorials. If the ModPath menu interface is not there, go to Edit and then Model Interfaces and select ModPath. Click OK. Next, we are going to define some particle starting locations. So select the 3D grid data folder. Go ahead and expand that. And then go to ModPath generate particles at wells. Next, make sure we have 20 particles selected and it's on the extraction wells. Then click OK. This creates a particle at every cell that contains an extraction well, and there are two. So we have one on the right side, one on the left side. You can see it created our net of particles and our capture zone. We're not interested on the extraction well on the left side, so we're going to delete it. Select the starting locations tool and drag a box around the well. Then click delete or hit delete. So we can see how the path lines move in 3D better. Go to select cells tool and select a cell near the landfill. Then go to side view. You can see these drop down right into the well. That's in layer 2. You can even go through a few columns if you'd like. It doesn't change too much from column to column, but you can also rotate. You can't rotate right now. Take it off orthographic and then you can rotate and see that differently. Go back to plain view. We're going to go to the display options and turn on direction arrows. So we're going to go to ModPath display options. Click the direction arrows button. We're also going to change the time interval to 500 and make sure the boundary and capture zone or boundary option is on. It is on, and the polyfill option is on as well. And there we go. We're going to change it back to orthographic, and there you can see it. So now expand our particle sets. Well, there's one there. So right click on that particle set. Go to properties. It's really hard to see, so let me scroll down here. There we go. I go to properties. And here we can change the behavior of our particle set and our capture zone. So we're going to switch to duration. No, leave that as is. Switch to duration. We're going to change the duration to 1500, and that's going to be 1500 days. Now that that's complete, we also want to display a 500-day capture zone. So go back to the MODPATH display options and turn off the direction arrows. Then right click, or no, change this name to 1500. Now right click it and duplicate it. And we're going to rename this one to 500 days. And change the duration to 500 as well. Now that we got both of them up, we need to make sure they are in the proper order. The particle sets are displayed from top to bottom. Since the 500-day particle set is smaller, it isn't shown here, so we're going to click and drag it above. And now we can see the outline of the 500-day duration particle set. So we're going to change how the particle sets behave again. Right click the 1500 days particle set and duplicate it. And rename this one and change it to end. Then double click. And in our track column, change it to end. Then click OK. Now we're going to just show what's in layer 2. So we're going to go to layer 2 and we're going to select a cell containing the well. So zoom in on the well to make sure you got it. We've got it. Zoom back out and go to the MODPATH menu and generate particles at selected cell. Change this distribute particles option to on cell faces, and then click the more options toggle, and we're going to change it so faces 1, 2, 3, and 4 have a value of 4, an NZ value of 4. Then click OK. Let's frame our image and go back to layer 1. So you'll see that the capture zone is a lot different now that we have them on the cell faces instead of on the surface. And that we can see this shaded area is the landfill. It does intersect the landfill slightly. Now in the Project Explorer, right click the particle set folder and we're going to create a new set. Change the new particle set to landfill. Then go to properties and make sure that it is a forward direction. So now go back to the MODPATH display options. And in the capture zone section, turn off the polyfill option. So before we select the cells, we want to make the recharge coverage our active coverage. So go ahead and click that. Then grab the Select Polygons tool and select the landfill polygon. Once we've done that, right click on the polygon and hit select intersecting objects. Click OK at the prompt. Now that we have the 3D grid cell selected, go back to the MODPATH menu, generate particles at selected cells. Turn off the more options toggle and change distribute on water table surface. Then click OK. This will generate one particle at each cell on the water table surface, and now we can see where they're going. We got some going down to the river and some going to the well. Click anywhere outside the model to unselect it. So now turn off the 500 day, 1500 day, and end particle sets, leaving just the landfill particle set active. Go to layer 2 and then select the cell with the well. Now that we've done that, go to MODPATH Cell Properties, and we're changing the MODPATH zone code to number 2. Now go to the MODPATH display options, and we're going to change how the different particle sets are displayed by changing the color. So the path lines are shown by default color. We're going to change that to ending code and then click OK. Now you should faintly see the green and the blue. If we turn off our picture background and JS layers, you can see a little better. So the green corresponds to the particles that end at the well, the blue corresponds to the particles that end at the river. So now go to click your starting locations tool and click one of the path lines that go from the landfill. And down here in our status bar at the bottom left, you should see the length according to your units of length and the amount of time it takes for the particle to go from the cell to its end location. So that's 3,064 days. If you select multiple starting locations by dragging a box around them, at the bottom you will see a minimum, maximum, and average distance along with times for those particles. If you would like to see your short time, we're going to select all of them. Our shortest time is 1,612 days, while our average time is 2,868 days for the particles to travel from the landfill to their end locations. To change the view of this one more time, go to the MODPATH display options and select delineate by zone code. Turn on the polyfill option and then click OK. Select anywhere to unselect what we have. Now this does show the capture zone for the landfill path lines. This capture zone does include areas where there are no path lines. So to fix this, we're going to go back to the display options and change our thin triangle ratio to 0.85. Now that has dragged it in a little bit and made it closer and correspond more closely to the particle lines. You will have to sometimes adjust that thin particle ratio to get good looking capture zones. This concludes the GMS 9.0 MODPATH tutorial. Thanks for watching.